Hi, everyone. In this video, we're going to begin talking about statistics. So what are statistics? Statistics, this is the study of collecting and analyzing data. And data in this context just sort of means information. And so you've probably heard of some statistics. So for example, 1 in 10 people do blank, or 30% of adults are blank, whatever. These are examples of statistics. And so the question is, how do we come to these conclusions? How do we sample this data? How do we find the data? How do we collect it? How do we present it? All of these things are examples of statistics. Or another big example that we're going to be focusing on is the typical diet consists of however many calories. This is a question, this word right here, what does typical mean? And there's a couple different ways to answer that. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in the beginning of this unit on statistics. So let's first talk about data. Data comes in 2 different flavors. First, we have quantitative data. This is data that can be expressed with numbers. So for example, you could have a height. So if you are in a classroom and you're looking, okay, what is the height of everyone in this classroom? Height, weight, age, etc. So these are information that can be classified numerically, so numerical information. The other flavor is categorical data. So this is data that isn't expressed with numbers. And so this is something like favorite color. It could be, so favorite color, favorite ice cream flavor, state that you live in, etc. So this is the reason it's called categorical data. So the reason it's called quantitative data is because it's the data is given in terms of quantities. The categorical data is given in terms of categories. Oh, one category is my favorite color is red. Then there's my favorite color is blue, etc. And so something like a data set or a data list, a data set, data set is the collection of all data points. And so something this might look like, so as an example, the collection of all the data points, and data points can really be anything, but let's say you find 5 people and ask them their favorite color. And so our data set might look like red, blue, green, orange. So this would be a data set, and this would be categorical data. okay? You ask 5 students how many siblings they have. Let's say 7 students. And so the data set in this case is 0, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, and so these are just examples of data sets. It's just a list of, it's as if you made a survey or a list of, or a quiz or something like that. And the data set is just all of the responses of that survey. So, and notice data points can be repeated. So here we've got multiple 2s, we've got multiple 1s, we've got multiple reds. So data points can be repeated. Okay, and so there's a couple different ways that we're going to talk about on how to present the data. And so the one we'll talk about in this video is the simplest one, which is just a data list. And this is exactly what I've been doing. This is a data list, this is a data list. And so a data list is where one simply lists out or lists off all of the data values. So one data list might look like 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 7, 5, 1, 4, 5, 6, 2, 1. Okay, so this is an example of a data list. It doesn't, we don't know what the data is for. It could be number of siblings, it could be number of pets that you have, it could be really anything. But we just say, okay, we asked one person and they told us 1. We asked another person and they told us 1. Another person, etc. And these are all the responses from all the different people. The problem is, so data lists can be sorted or unsorted. Sorted means that the data points, so data lists, and this is only applies to quantitative data. Sorted data lists means that the data is in ascending order. Unsorted, ascending or descending. It doesn't really matter. Usually we'll use ascending. Data is not in ascending or descending order. And so it's going to be important to us to make sure that our data lists are always sorted. So for example, this data list is unsorted because I've got 1 going to 2, so it's increasing. I'm going to 3, it's increasing more. And then we go to 7, it's increasing again. And then we go down to 5. So we're increasing and then decreasing. So it's unsorted. This data list is also unsorted. Yeah, an example of a sorted data list is 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 5, 10. So you can have the same number, that's fine. You just can't, you have to either always be increasing or always be decreasing, or at least you always be increasing or always be decreasing, but duplicates are allowed. So we're not That's the difference between ascending order or strictly ascending. We don't need it to be strictly ascending, which would mean that it has to be strictly bigger every time. It just means for every number, the next number has to be bigger or the same size. Okay, that's going to be all for this video.